Yo, 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 everybody. Welcome back. It's No Border Sports. We are talking about the NFC West Championship game. It's me and Waruna, and our wonderful friend, Bayareaballer 18.
Hey, thanks, fellas. I'm pumped up to talk some ball. Thanks for getting me on here.
You know it.
Good to have you. So, we have this championship game to talk about, but I just wanted to start with what is happening between this Jeff Garcia and Mina Kimes situation. So, let me explain what Jeff Garcia said about Mina Kimes. He said, "Who the hell is Mina Kimes and when is the last time she threw a touchdown pass in a game? Never ever. Has she taken a snap or can truly understand the ability, the mindset, the physical and mental toughness that it takes to play the QB position?" He just go on and says that, in fact, that there are people out there giving platform to talk about something that they have never done is hilarious, and that's how you have to look at her. She's a joke, so let's just laugh at her and support Jimmy, root on our Niners to go out and beat the living F out of one more team. That's what it takes. She will never know that feeling. Can I get peace? Jeff Garcia, I know you are not watching, but you are a piece of a shit garbage. Change your name to Jeff Garbacia. Mina Kimes, she's a reporter. She knows what she is doing. She's entertaining, not just entertaining. She can argue with any man who has played the game or not. She has her opinion. She is not picking back. Just go back and watch the videos you can find on YouTube. So do not disrespect women like that. We are content creators. We don't do that. I myself have that dignity and I can proudly say I'm a better man than you. Right?
Hey, Waruna, you nailed it. You know, growing up, Jeff Garcia, that's who the Niners quarterback was when I first started watching the Niners. And I thought he was pretty good, but these comments, very disappointing. Now, has Joe Buck ever taken a snap under center? I don't think so, but he's able to criticize these guys. A lot of great announcers and analysts haven't played a lick of football. And for Jeff to come out and say that, you know, he's showing his true colors, and I'm disappointed wholeheartedly.
So
Yes.
I'd like to bring up a point. I see that the women broadcasters, reporters, everybody who is talking about football and is a female, they might have pretty faces, but they all can back it up with their talk. And they know about football in and out. It's their job, and they have to be. You know what I mean? How can some pretty lady just compete with some Pro Bowl NFL player who just retired? No one's just going to believe or respect anything they say, other than them saying stuff that earns respect, because other people either believe it's true enough or watch it play out and they go, oh shit, she was right. You know what I mean? They start from nothing and have to build their respect and their integrity up from the bottom. And I think it's disrespectful and definitely beneath him. And Oruna said he went on KMBR earlier today and doubled down on it, which was definitely the wrong move. I think you needed to realize that was a big mistake and you offended a lot of people, not just women. You're talking about, you just threw, very talented people under the bus that aren't just women. You told Stephen A. Smith said on his thing, he says, look, I've never played a lick of football neither. Look at him. He's out there getting paid way more than Jeff Garcia to talk about the same stuff. I don't personally like Stephen A. Smith, but he's got a point. He's right. And I'm telling you, I thought about this the other day. I remember, months ago, people were talking about, women in sports and if they had a place and this and that. And I think, what, everybody's got a place if they love sports. And I think if I would have a problem with somebody if they didn't know what they were talking about and they didn't love doing what they were doing. Other than that, I got no qualms with you. But if you
I
don't like what
absolutely
you're doing,
love Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes is so intelligent. I think her takes are usually spot on. You know, I don't agree with 100% of what anybody says, but I have a
Yes.
lot of respect for Mina Kimes. She's phenomenal at what she does. So for Jeff to come out and do that, I mean, this is no BS. That's some BS right there.
that seems like
Yes.
some old school, good old boys club, like woman stay in your lane type thing. And it's not where we're at in today's times. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's not where we're at. People that know
Yes.
anything know that a man can fuck it up just as bad as a woman can. A woman can fuck it up just as bad as a man can. So it doesn't matter who it is. It's all about if they're a leader, if they're respectable, if they could do what they're actually saying. You know what I mean? And she covers all the corners. You know what I mean? She covers it all.
Yes. So we got fired up early in the show, but we at no BS. We are not going to tolerate any BS. So that's why we talked about it. So
I
let's
mean,
get
I
on
mean,
to.
I mean, you
I
know he
mean,
plays Madden. You know he plays Madden. Jeez.
yes.
Oh, get a mean
I,
to 1,000 subs. If you don't know,
yes.
you don't know Amin the Dream, go out and find Amin the Dream on YouTube here and subscribe.
Yes. Get Tommy 2000
Yeah.
subs. So let's start with Trent Williams. Now he did not practice as far as I heard. Probably I think he will go because I don't think that he is going to leave it out because there is just one game. Because yes, of course, there is another game if we get through, but to get to the Super Bowl, we have to play this, and we need Trent Williams because we know what Rams are going to do. So, Eric, how crucial is this? So, if worst case scenario happens, if Trent Williams does not play, are you comfortable? And who you are going to move to that left tackle position?
Well, I mean, if Trent's out, I think you got to go back to McKivitz. He wasn't terrible. I believe it was week 18 when we played the Rams. McKivitz had to step in. I think he gave up one sack to Von Miller, but I think you got to go right back to that rabbit hole because McKivitz wasn't awful. And, you know, decent is better than the unknown. Jalen Moore, there's some unknown there. So I would go back to McKivitz, but I'm hoping Trent Williams can gut it out. But fellas, it was worrisome how he was moving out there against the Packers. I mean, you could see him constantly limping off. I mean, he was trying not to put weight on that ankle of his. And not only that, you know, Compton, right? I know PFF has been hyping up Compton, but Compton didn't play well last week, right? And we know Brunskill, he can get beat by a powerful defensive tackle, right? I've seen that. So now we potentially have, if Trent's out, we got 3 weaknesses on the offensive line, in my opinion. Tom Compton, the run blocking, he's been solid, but in pass pro, I'm worried about it. Same thing with Brunskill. And if Trent's out, now the left tackle. So I'm worried about it. And I'm hoping Trent can gut through it. During the presser today, Shanahan said that Trent thinks he's going to be able to play. But he thought he was going to be able to play in that week 18 showdown, and he couldn't. So I got my fingers crossed. But let me tell you, if he's out, what I expect the game plan to be is obviously, I'm sure we're going to get to it, but not only run the ball, but a lot of quick passes.
Yes.
We're going to get the ball out quick, whether it's the jet sweeps or the quick slants. Like, we don't need Jimmy doing 7-step drops, holding on to the ball, 3-read progressions. That's not his style. So get the ball out quick, and that's a way you can kind of nullify the holes on the offensive line.
So I think Trent's gonna play. I think they're just like the whole not practicing thing. That's planned because they don't want him on it. They want that thing to get as good as it can. And do you think I don't know if he'll get a shot. I don't know if he'll get a pain shot if he plays. The reason being is he'll be able to judge what's too much a lot better, and he won't be able to cause more harm. And he might be able to just tap out, second quarter or whatnot, and let somebody else finish the rest of the game. And he might be able to play if we win in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Because then he'll have a 2-week break. And I was watching not a documentary, but Joe Staley was interviewing him. And it seems like all Trent Williams really needs to know is the plays he's doing on offense and studying the 2 or 3 top moves of everybody he might see. And that can be done sitting somewhere with your foot elevated, iced, and then propped up. You know what I mean? Like, he knows how to move in an offense. You know what I mean? He's a pro. He doesn't need to do these walkthroughs really. You know what I mean? It'd be nice. He doesn't need to be in pads. He just needs to walkthroughs would be nice, but he doesn't even need those. You know what I mean? So
Yes. So, one thing I want to ask this question from both of you. I thought it's a kind of a follow up question. Given, let's say, if Trent Williams does not play, will there be a chance that finally Aaron Donald get his revenge? Because this season, last 2 games, it was like he did not exist, right? But can there be a situation, this weakness, the whole left without having Trent Williams, finally let him to make a havoc, make
Aaron
some
Aaron Donald doesn't go up against Trent Williams.
okay.
Minimally. You're right,
Yeah,
right?
if anything,
They could. Donald can line up anywhere, but predominantly he's lining up on the inside. Going up, it would be either Tomlinson, Mack, and Brunskill. But
he's a 3
occasionally they
technique.
shift him around. He could take a
Yeah.
few snaps at end.
Yeah. Actually, I think I wanted to ask is that not having Trent Williams, now the whole offensive line is weaker. So when you have that player not available, other players' performance might also degrade. So that was my point actually. That
Okay.
whole level of degradation can give whether can it give an advantage to Aaron Donald? Not the one-on-one matchup, I would say.
Well, but at the same time, okay, so let's say no Trent Williams, right? That means you don't really want to pass, right? Then or it has to be like Baller who said, it has to be the quick passes. You know what I mean? Like a play action, suck the linebackers in, and then enough time to throw a little quick pass to somebody because they're behind the linebackers now. Okay, really quick stuff. But like, what was I going? Like you're talking about you're going to be running a lot. Aaron Donalds is a pass rusher. He likes to get upfield, and Kyle likes to call those plays that attack Aaron Donald and let him get upfield, and then they run right behind him. You know what I mean? So that's why if Trent Williams isn't there and they have the right game plan, it will not matter as much because it's a lot easier to run block, especially with the people that they have in San Francisco. They know that that's their bread and butter. So everybody has to run block, and they have to know this specific scheme of run blocking, and they have to be efficient at it. So it's a lot easier to plug and play linemen on the run scheme than it is to plug and play linemen when it comes to drop back passing.
And Ryan, our run game is so diverse. We have the most diverse run game in the NFL, in my opinion, right? When you think Kyle Shanahan, the first thing that gets mentioned is the outside zone, right? But now we've got the toss plays, but the tosses also are turning into counter runs, right?
Yep.
And up the gut and cutbacks. So our run game is hard to scheme for defensively.
Most definitely. So it's like, and that's why a patient man can be productive against our offense. You know what I mean? But it's hard not to watch all the squirrels running around. You know what I mean? Like sometimes on the plays, it almost looks like the right and left guard and the left and right guard just like pick up and move across the, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
oh yeah, we're pulling them.
Pulling everybody. Like the only person staying is the center, but he's going upfield to get a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? And Juice is coming right behind him to, blow out whatever side he needs to kind of get a bigger hole. You know what I mean? It's crazy what goes on here. So it's like even the patient man's going to get in trouble because then they're just going to keep going outside and you're going to be waiting for it to come back up the middle and it doesn't. So it's you live by one, you die by another, but it's hard. It's a double-edged sword. He once you start doing one thing well, he comes back into the other one, and you're not ready to protect against that yet. And once you start getting better at that, he's right back doing the other thing, and you're not ready for it. And that's what makes it so, explosive. Essentially, it's not like an explosive offense, but for a run game,
we got an explosive run game.
Yes.
Okay, so before we move on to the next topic, I want to quickly address the Amin's question.
Yeah.
I don't think so, Devante Adams to Niners, because today I saw a report. I can't remember what the source was, but some credible source saying he wants $30 million per year as a contract. I think for 49ers, the way they are scheming things up, especially given the situation that Jimmy Garoppolo might come back if we go on to win the Super Bowl this year. So I think that's too much, because 49ers do not need that kind of a wide receiver, because it's a waste. Because Jimmy Garoppolo, whatever the games that he win, there is no way that he is going to utilize $30 million wide receiver. Then you are just going to have $57 million quarterback and wide receiver basically unused.
He better run block very well. I mean, like Kittle well. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Because we're not going to be, hopefully not be using him that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
No, I'm sorry. There's no shot. Sorry, Ryan. Sorry to cut you off. There's no shot we're getting Devontae. I mean, we've invested so much in Brandon Ayuk and Debo. Debo's the guy we're going to pay. Debo's going to get the big bucks. And then you got Kittle. So you got the three weapons. You got the nucleus there. You don't need to spend $25 million a year on Devontae Adams.
Try and find a diamond in the rough in the fourth or the fifth or something like that. You know what I mean? To try and, just every 2 years or something to take a shot.
Yeah, we did with Juwan Jennings. I mean, he's been playing good, and he was what, sixth or seventh round?
And he could be the one. He could be the one. He was a seventh round. Yeah, he was real close from not getting drafted. So glad we did. Right. I remember that. He was crying, and I was almost crying too, because I was like, I wanted you. Like, once I heard he was still on the table, I was like, that's that guy. He's got that mentality of, just I want to punch you in the face. You know what I mean? Not that he hates him. It's just you're on the field and you're wearing the wrong jersey. So you need to get a mouthful of me,
He's a bully.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's move on to the next topic, Debo. So today I saw the news again. During the Packers game, he went to Kyle Shanahan and said, okay, I want to return the kicks because the special teams are struggling. We all know that. So he wanted to help, and he helped. Basically, this guy is like, okay, if Kyle lets him to be the offensive coordinator, he will take that too. He has that capacity. I believe he has that capacity. If you ask him to be the governor of California, I think Debo will do it. He would say, okay, no, fine, I will do a better job. So the point is, how crucial is this? So are you excited, Debo doing this, or are you worried that he might get hurt along the way, so we do not get the output that we are used to get from him? Ryan, do you want to go first?
Oh, I was gonna let Baller go first. If you want me to, I got it.
No, I want to go first, Ryan. That way you don't steal my thunder. Okay. I'm really excited about this evolution of Debo at kick return because, as you said, our kick return game has been so lackluster. And, I mean, Debo, we played it correctly. I would not have put Debo at kick return during the regular season, right? I would not have done that. It's not sustainable for 18 weeks. But during the playoffs, I mean, these are must-win games. You're looking for any kind of edge. Who can you put in a position to give your team a better chance at winning? And Debo Samuel, this guy is the best weapon in the NFL, and I'm not even exaggerating. He's fast, he's physical, and he's got this great vision, right? It's like he sees the holes before anyone else does. Almost, it reminds me of Raheem Mostert. Mostert had the speed, but Mostert also had that vision where if the cutback lane is open, boom, he's taking it and he's gone. So Debo's got some of that, but he's got more physicality to him. So I love it. Anytime you can get the ball into a playmaker's hands, you got to do it. And it paid off. He returned a kick return to the 50-yard line in that game against the Packers. So it's working.
So right as you were asking this question, I thought about like, you know how the connection what's his name up there in Green Bay has with Green Bay, or has with Aaron Rodgers. What's the coach up
Adams.
there? Huh?
Oh, who's that?
No, the
LaFleur?
coach, the head coach, LaFleur, yes. So you know how Aaron could be like, "Hey, LaFleur, we need to run this," and LaFleur's like, "I got you, G." You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of chemistry you want between you and your quarterback. Kyle has that with Debo. He's like, "Hey, I'm feeling it right now. Feed me the ball." And if you notice, he went into the huddle and he said, "We're gonna take this one to the house." He's trying to get everybody hyped up, like Kyle's about to throw a killer down the pipeline, guys. We all got to sell out for this one, and let's break their backs. You know what I mean? And what did everybody do? Everybody sold out. Everybody sold out. So like it's sad that it's with your wide receiver and not your quarterback. But if he can have that connection with his wide receiver and have a connection, with a quarterback later on like that, that'll be amazing. And yes, I like to see him returning, especially now. This is the time where you pull out all the stops, you put your best talent in on special teams, whether it's Jimmy Ward or anybody. Like if it thinks you'll get an edge, you put him in there. It's what you do. It's smartest thing to do. There's no time to leave anything on the field.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I want to add? I like how we transitioned away from Ayuk. I mean, Ayuk wasn't terrible on punt return, but Travis Benjamin, I feel a little more secure with Travis Benjamin catching it and being decisive, because sometimes it felt like Ayuk was a little indecisive. That might be something he can improve on, but I like how we've put Travis Benjamin on punt return. I think he did a nice job against the Packers.
Yeah, I don't want to go off the path here, but since you mentioned Eric Ayuk, even last Packers game, I think we had to burn a timeout because Ayuk wasn't lining up
Oh yeah.
correctly.
I mean,
This not the first time he did that. Not the first time he did that during the season. He still seems like, I mean, he's a very good athlete, but there are sometimes I don't know, he's lagging behind. Hope that he will improve that next year or maybe years to come. But right now, there are some certain situations that he's doing stuff that what you call coach killers. That coach just want to take you out to the sideline and just punch you hard. That if I was the coach, sometimes I would do that. I mean, coaches do that, right? I mean, you have played sports because coaches used to do that, but you can't do that anymore because you have the social media. The parents are there. They are, I mean, taking
I had
the tapes and
I had my
everything.
mouth I had my mouthpiece ripped off my face mask and then thrown in the dirt and stepped on. And then I was told, put it back in. And I went to go wipe it off, and he's like, no, put it back in.
I mean,
It's football, man.
any sport. I mean, even I have. Okay, that's a different topic, but that's about Ayub. So I hope he won't do the same mistakes in the game. So let's move on to the next topic. I know Eric has to start his show at 7:05, call-in show. So after this one, what is the winning formula? Simple question.
Yeah. I mean, it's run the ball. It's run the ball and run it some more and run it down their throat. All right. But you know what? I'm going to actually flip it to the defense, because when I looked back at that week 18 matchup, the defensive line showed up big time. All right. When the Rams jumped out to that 17-point lead, we weren't making Stafford uncomfortable. He wasn't uncomfortable enough. If you give Stafford time in the pocket, he's going to find Cooper Kupp. He's going to find Odell Beckham. He'll hit Higbee a few times. But the way we disrupted him in the second half with Arden Key, Bosa, Eric Armstead. I need to take back any negative word I've ever said about Armstead. That's the biggest change of this season, was when we shifted Eric Armstead from defensive end to the inside at defensive tackle. He's been an animal. All right. So that is the way. That's the winning formula. Get Matthew Stafford uncomfortable, sack him, put pressure on him. push the pocket, get bodies around him, because that makes it a lot more difficult for him to operate. And he's thrown some interceptions this year. So if we can put the pressure on Matt Stafford, I expect a turnover, maybe 2. And to me, that's a winning formula.
Okay. So Ryan, before you answer, I'll just ask: can we stop Cooper Cup getting behind and make some big plays?
Yes. So this is my philosophy with Cooper Cup. Okay, you can't shut him down. Okay, all you can do is utilize enough people to try and limit him just enough so you're not taking away from the rest of the defense and hurting it. Okay, you got to keep him in front of you. Other than that, I mean, if you can make Matthew Stafford have to wait 5 seconds before he can throw to him, I mean, the game's won. I mean, he's going to get a couple passes off to him, but the game's won at that point because the defensive line's already getting home. You know what I mean? Those boys can eat, especially if it's in a bad situation and they're blitzing. You know what I mean? They show that double A gap all game and then don't blitz, and then all of a sudden do some kind of a stunt and then bring the linebacker at the last second. You know what I mean? Like, it's deadly. It's, rope-a-dope. You know what I mean? You're getting them all tired and you're just getting them complacent and everything's good, and then you just come back and hit them in the mouth. So, yeah, I think that's what we need to do on defense. You can't shut that guy down. All you could do is make it so he has to go through all this stuff to get finally open. And when he is, hopefully your defensive line has gotten home. The key to the offense, like he said, run, 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 run. I would love to see a jumbo package with an extra offensive lineman. I would love to see that. I would love to just totally see that. I want to see people, smashed in the mouth, and I want to see it with an extra big body in there. And I don't know if the defensive line from the Rams can handle that. You're talking about
Would two tight ends do that for you, Ryan, if we're playing more Charlie Warner and George Kittle?
No, you need an extra offensive lineman in there. You could have Warner and Kittle in there also. I don't have a problem with that. You could put Charlie Warner in like like a wing T formation behind the line and use him as a second fullback to hammer up the middle.
Was this Navy? This ain't Navy, Ryan.
Bro, you got bodies, you run the ball. This is how you do it. This is how you demoralize people. Do this in the first half. Make all the defensive line suck win. This is the other thing, too. I've said this before on Jack Hammer's show, on Grant's show. Nobody ever really picked this up. But when you do this, you're going to force another defensive lineman out there, okay? At least one more. That's gonna do things for their rotation. Okay, and it's going to mess up the rotation just enough to where somebody is always going to have to be out there. And then you're going to have to, someone's going to have to do more work than the other ones at any certain point in time. So there's always going to be one guy who's more tired than the other ones. And that's just going to draw their energy down by, like I said, if you do this in the first half, they're going to be tired by the first half is over. And then you're going to be able to go back to your regular offense and run on them, and they're going to be gassed.
Yes. I think one thing, the advantage that 49ers have as a team, they are not afraid to play physical football. I mean, they would just do whatever they want to. They have that ability, the attribute, just hanging there. 49ers are like a guy who want to get into a bar, but the bouncer do not let you to. But he would just try to come back from the back door, wherever he is. But he always want to come back. You just chase away the guy. 1 minute later, he is still there. 49ers have that attitude. I love it because you can't get rid of that team. So that's what the key success of this team, the formula, moving. I mean,
the 49ers find some way to put people in a phone booth. No matter what your team is designed to do, they put you in a phone booth, and then the knife fight is on. And the only chance you have is to open the door to that phone booth. And if you can get out, you've won. But if you're stuck in that phone booth, there's no chance that it's going to be a guaranteed win for you, because it's going to go back and forth, and it's going to come down to the end.
Yes. So let's just look at from the Rams angle. Can Rams prevent the whitewash? So one thing I want, before you guys answer the question, one thing I want to ask is, during the Packers game, Rodgers tried too much to connect with Adams. There were some chances, other receivers were open, but he didn't take the shot. But do you think during this game, because Matthew Stafford doesn't have that problem? I mean, he loved to connect with Cooper Cup, but he has no problem with connecting with Tyler Higbee, Van Jefferson. So do you think that even if we shut down Cooper Cup or let him do the minimal damage, these are some of these other tight end or receivers might step up and take the game away from 49ers?
No, I don't. Cooper Kupp's his guy. If we can limit Cooper Kupp, I do not see Odell Beckham catching more than 3 or 4 balls. Higbee, same thing, 3 or 4 balls. So if we can limit Cooper Kupp, because that's his main target. Everyone knows that. It's easier said than done to limit Cooper Kupp, and that's why we talked about the pass rush so much. Getting to Stafford, that's the way to do it. But no, I do not think Odell Beckham or Tyler Higbee or Van Jefferson can single-handedly beat the Niners with a monster, 140-yard game. I don't see that from those other guys.
If he's having to go through progressions, he's in trouble. That's if he gets to his third progression, he's in trouble. You know what I mean? And if he can't get it to Kupp off the first 2 reads, you know what I mean? He's looking for him on the third, he's gonna get caught. And can they stop the whitewash? Yes, they can. They have to run the ball. They have to run the ball. They have to be effective, because once they become one-dimensional and we know they have to pass, the game is now, a coin flip in their respect at that point, because it's only a matter of time till one of those defensive linemen get home. You know what I mean? And then if anything happens to your arm, they don't even have to get home. They just have to get close to touch your arm a little bit in the middle of the throwing process, and that can cause a turnover. So, I mean, they have to have their run game going. And even then, Akers gave up 2 fumbles, last week. He was half of their turnovers. So that's not necessarily good either.
Yes. One other thing I would say from the Rams perspective, if they get into an early lead, let's say sizable lead, they have to keep pressing on. They can't take the foot out of the gas like they did in week 18, like against the Bucs. They have to keep attacking. They have to go for the kill, because the 49ers team,
they didn't take their foot off the gas. Somebody put their car in park and tossed their keys into the field.
Yes. So basically, this 49er team is really dangerous. It's like, if you give them a chance, if you give them a slightest chance, they will just come knocking on the door and take you away. So they have to keep attacking until that last second. Because last week we got to know 13 seconds are more than enough. After Dak Prescott, we thought 14 seconds are not enough, but Mahomes really showed us otherwise. So 13 seconds are enough. But anyway, they have to play until the last whistle. That's the key for Rams win, if they are to win.
Let's get to the last one real quick, and we'll shut it down. Let him get to his show.
Yes. So the score prediction. What do you think?
I'm calling in too.
You better. I hope so. Score prediction, man.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be a tough one, fellas. I'm a little bit nervous. I can't even lie. I'm a little nervous. All right. I think it's going to be a tight one. Robbie Gould, he just kicked the game-winning field goal last week, and I'm dipping back to the well. 27-24 49ers on a game-winning Robbie Gould field goal back-to-back weeks.
Okay. Ryan?
See, I said that last Rams game and I was right. I think it's going to be more though. So I'm going to say 30-27 Niners.
Okay.
I think it's going to be within 3.
Don't
So
do it, Varuna.
last 3
Varuna's
weeks-
the one. You never know what Varuna's going to do. Let me
Okay,
tell you.
now I have a new formula.
You
Last
better
3
pick the
weeks-
Rams. You better pick
yes,
the Rams.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Last 3 weeks, I picked the other team and 49ers won. I was wrong. I'm happy. So this week too, I'm going to pick Rams. Rams 31, 49ers 24. So I want to be wrong on this, as always. So I think that's it for the today's show. So Ryan, we can wrap up.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank Bayareaballer for coming on. Always so good with everything you say. I mean, you know,
Hey,
he's
Ryan,
got
are you wearing overalls right now?
Yeah.
Looking fly. Looking mighty fly, Ryan.
Bro, these what I work in. I don't have a belt no more. I got no ass. So wearing a belt, I mean, my pants fall down. I always got to be pulling them up. You know, it just doesn't work very well. So like, it's either overalls or suspenders and pants. You know, I'm not messing around no more. It's all about comfort, baby. And these things, they got a little stretch to them too. So when you bend over, they kind of, you know, move a little bit. It's not restrictive. Doesn't cut the balls in half.
No BS.
No bullshit.
Hashtag no BS.
Yes. So that's some advice, fashion advice for you guys. So thank you, Eric. So please join to the Eric's call-in show starting in another 5 to 10 minutes. So
Yeah, go
and we are
subscribe.
Yes. So we are hoping for a 49ers win and have a good night, everyone.
Go
Peace.
Niners. Let's go.